Right, okay, not entirely sure what's happened there. OBS had a little hissy fit and decided to disconnect my stream and wouldn't reconnect again. So we are going to start again. And hopefully carry on and be fine. Yeah, sorry about that, I'm not entirely sure what happened. OBS seems to have hissy fits every so often and just randomly disconnects me and will not reconnect again for love nor money. And I'm not sure what the problem is. I've tried everything over the last few months to rectify this issue. I have tried several different internet providers. I have tried several different Wi-Fi cards. No laptop, I don't care about my warranty on HP products that I don't own, so please stop with those pop-ups. Welcome back, thank you Arkville. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like I said, OBS just did its thing where it disconnects and then refuses to reconnect to an internet connection that the rest of the computer is using quite happily. But, like I said, we'll carry on where we were. So, we were going to attempt to do some mech surgery, and I'll be watching my connection speed like a hawk. Because I don't trust OBS's little connection indicator, because sometimes it says it's got full signal and I can see my stream signal is choppy as hell, and sometimes it disconnects and won't reconnect, even though the computer has an internet connection. Anyway, we'll hope that is the only hiccup. Oh, there are bugs somewhere. Hello bugs. Come on, get shot. Thank you. Oh, there's another one. Come on then. Thank you. Cheeky git. What, we got 30 minutes into that stream before OBS crashed? That was good. I wish there was a way to edit YouTube VODs into one video, so I could stitch all these broken parts of my stream back together again. It's going to be daft having 1.5 hour video and then a 3.5 hour video immediately after it. That is the world of the internet. Right, so I want to do some mad nonsense to move these legs over a block, because I need those legs to be wider. I need to get armor in there, so mech surgery. Because if we can do some subgrid shenanigans, can I get close enough to grind that block out? If we do some subgrid shenanigans, we can actually move this leg over one block without actually physically or technically detaching it from the main grid. So that's about right there. Let's take that off. Let's build a row of blocks. Ah, damn, I need to get a little bit lower. We need a row of blocks there, and then I'm going to need to weld that piston up actually, because I need power in it. I need to move it. Alright, let's grab some bits for that piston. And withdraw a motor. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Right, let's weld that up. There we go. Right, let's move you out a little bit. Let's set you to 0. There we go. We need to move you out. Actually, need to move you out a little bit further. That's the one. Because we need to get a rotor on there, and I need steel plates. Obviously. I didn't pick up any steel then, did I? No. Steel, don't have any. Let me some steel plates. Cool, there we go. Right, rotor, which way are you? Let's mount you with the 0 at the top. Oh, actually, you need to come down on the block. So, steel block there, or armor block rather. Bum 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 bum. Rotor. In fact, I'll have the 0 facing me, so it'll be easier to see the indicator on the rotor, because rotors have a particular way round. That little line indicates the front. That little line lines up with the 0 on the motor base. So we'll weld that as well, just for extra security. Right, I'll grab those parts. Thank you. Dum. That's welded. That is welded. We'll bring that back in so it lines up with that. Attach that onto there, and now that is a little subgrid chain connecting the leg to the body. So if we 0 the limits on this, because it is more effective than using the rotor lock. Rotor locks can break, whereas if you 0 the limits, it's much nicer. We'll also share inertia tensor them so they're not wobbly. And then we should be able to detach the leg there, push the whole thing out a bit, and the whole thing is technically still attached to the robot. Now we can effectively move that rotor head in there. Oop. Right, so you are facing outwards as well, that's fine. I can take that off. I can find the right button past my microphone. We'll copy that over there. Pop that in there to give ourselves a little bit more space. And then pop a rotor head back on there, in the same orientation as it was before. Otherwise, when we reattach that leg, it will start doing weird stuff. Right, so that's better. Let's move away from that a little bit. Dum-da-dum-da-dum. Oh no, reverse isn't going to do anything because I'm not putting power into it. Let's bring that back in. About there will do. Wrong thing. Reattach that. There we go. And the leg is now reattached. It's a little bit further out, and we can actually probably 0 that. We've got enough room to get a block in there. We've also made his stance a little bit wider, so he should be a little bit more stable side to side. We now just need to grind down this whole arm here and do the same thing on the other side. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Oops, didn't mean to drop that one. Come on. Where's the connection point for it? Thank you. And we can take that out. Let's retrieve that block, because I think I need it. Ah, hello, Gemini Sierra. How are you doing? Right, let's do the other leg. Yeah, looks a little bit better having a slightly wider stance. We can get more armour in there. That's the main thing. Good. Ah, pretty good, thanks. Ah, cool. Glad everyone's doing okay. Right, so let's do the same thing again. Let's get a nice, bright, and very obvious colour. Let's move this whole thing down a bit. Oh, it's my camera position. I can't quite see past the arm of the mech. There we go. Right, so armor blocks 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think fell down. That was clever. That leg's at 81. That's not the right angle. Let's get 90 for the moment. Thank you. Let's press that spacebar by mistake. Right, let's weld. Ugh. Slightly too low by the tiniest little bit. Right, that's you welded up. Let's push you out a bit. Get that rotor in there. Bring that down. Cool, yeah, we are in line. Fantastic. Rotor body, there it is. Can't see the side of that rotor properly. Let's pull up slightly. Actually, swing that back end round a bit so I can get around this side. There we go, that's better. Where's 0? 0 is right there. So, that can come off. That can come off. That can go there. Weld it up just so it's got a little bit of damage resistance in it in case anything gets a bit clangy. That can sit about there. That can get reattached. Cool. We are in business. Right. You can get detached. Oh yeah. Bit of shear inertia tensor on that. Let's 0 them so it doesn't start wobbling around too much. And we need to move the skiff. Ruby. Right. I'll get in there. Reasonable angle. There we go. Beautiful. Right, then we can copy that colour again. Stick one of them on there. Where are my rotor heads? There they are. That's the correct orientation. Lovely. Lovely. Right, we can plug that leg back in. That'll do about there. Reattach that. Detach that. Fall off the skip as always. I need to put a little barrier on this skiff eventually. I have actually designed quite a cool looking skiff in my Alien Survival series. I need to replicate that design in this at some point. Right. There we go. Legs have been sorted out. Right, can I get rid of that, please? Thank you. There we go. Wonderful. Right, there we go. We have successfully rejigged those legs a little bit. So let's pull that back to 0. Actually, let's move the skiff back a bit more. And there we go. Engaging the walk cycle again resets everything back to where it should be because we've got all those move to commands. And the walk cycle works perfectly fine, forwards works fine, backwards works fine. The only thing I haven't done, did I make a group for the arm hinges? Yes, I have. So, walk, reset. As you can see, his shoulders are up in the air and he's walking along like the Dark Souls meme. So, we're going to add some controls in there to reset that. So we've got a reset for the arm rotors to put them back into default position. We just didn't do the hinges. So ASTR arm hinges should be positive velocity. So set velocity to, they'll call it 5 to match the rotors. So now if I just tap the walk controls, the reset puts them back down there. Cool. Yeah, so I turn the arm weapons on, I can start walking. The AI takes over the arms, but if I turn the AI for the arms off again mid-walk, the commands in the event controllers take priority again, so that resets the arms back to their walking animation. Then if we turn the AI on again, that does its thing, takes priority, and then, yeah. Cool, right, walk controls work, and the stance, he looks a little bit better as well now. He looked too skinny before. And we could actually readjust this armour here and maybe give ourselves a bit more room to get a few more balance control gyros in so he's a little bit more sturdy. Oh, hey player one, how are you doing? Yeah, let's do that. Let's move that to there. And then we can also add a little bit more detail to this rather than just being a complete straight line down the entire side of his torso. So, if I say the armour is going to start... Where's that beam block? From there instead. So we're kind of half protecting the rotor. Ow! Thank you, weather. Oh, that dude. That took me into the red. Let's go get healed before I die. Also eat food. Meat goes in there. What's that, player one? You're off to the dock tomorrow morning, but other than that, you're enjoying the rest of your Sunday. I'm good. I had a little bit of a hiccup with OBS at the beginning of the stream. We got 30 minutes in and then OBS just wouldn't reconnect to my internet again, doing that stupid little bug that OBS seems to have, because I'm fairly certain it's an OBS issue. I've fiddled with basically every other setting that I possibly can do. It still randomly puts out and won't reconnect occasionally. But yeah, other than the internet hiccups, I'm okay. Just doing a bit of remodeling on this guy. So, let's give that a bit of a flatter edge down here. That's that. So, let's turn... I might just do 2 end blocks like that. Although that doesn't actually add an awful lot of space for any extra gyros in there, unfortunately. So if I put a gyro in there, that will almost certainly scrub. I mean, it says it fits, but I don't trust the end of the models, even though there's clearly like a 5cm gap. Actually, you know what? We'll try it. We'll be able to tell very, very quickly if it's scrubbing. Yeah, I might try that. Let's see if that works. If not, we can just delete it. What's that? You remember... it's great to see this mech come together. Oh, thank you very much. You remember seeing wasted space building a primitive mech back in cooperative survival with Shack and Morph. SE has come a long way. Yeah, it has done, particularly in the last like year or two. The updates we have had recently, in the last sort of 18 months or so, have made some massive improvements to mech building and subgrid shenanigans in general, particularly all these lovely new rotate to angle and set velocity and all these new toolbar actions that Keen have been making have made such a difference. It's so easy to program mechs now, because before you used to have to mess around with timers and timing sequences and being very precise about how you control the mech and what buttons you pressed, and if you pressed the wrong thing you could smeg the whole thing up. Whereas now, with these lovely event controllers, you can set so many parameters and just have them work with the click of a button. Like we just saw there when I moved the legs around. I mean, that probably would have still worked with timers, but occasionally stuff like that can break and go a bit weird. Event controllers, I find, are a lot better than timers for advanced programming stuff. The way I see the two now is event controllers are like an if statement, and timers are more like an executable command. Like, I'll put all my actions into timers and then have the timers triggered by event controllers. What am I even doing? I am looking for bits for gyros, that's what I'm looking for. What's that, player one? Absolutely, the functionality bits in the last month or so fancy. Yeah, even the AI blocks as well. The AI blocks are another one of my favourite additions. Because they all behave slightly differently and all have their different kinds of use cases. And I've really expanded on the remote control. And the remote control itself is still super functional and super useful. I just consider it the original AI block, because I will use... Oh, that's why I was taking a little bit of damage. I was too close to the thruster. Because on my AI builds, I will still happily have, as you can see there, a remote control and the AI blocks for doing different things. Because the remote controls are very dedicated blocks. If you set them up with waypoints, they will make damn sure that they get to that waypoint. Whereas the AI blocks have the ability to go, meh, I can't get there, I'm going to skip to the next one. So you can use them for different things, and the recorder blocks are very, very good for getting to precise locations, but they appear to work in a very different way to the remote and the task block. The recorder blocks, when they are moving around to waypoints, they align themselves, they orient themselves to the waypoint first, then travel towards it. But if they get knocked off course en route, they get very upset when they can't figure out why they haven't got to their destination, and they will just swing past it, doing nothing. Which is, I think, the issue the moth is having when it undocks from the lamp. The lamp is immediately moving off, and that waypoint that the moth is using is going with it, and the moth is going, hey, I can't figure out where I'm supposed to be going. So I need to tweak the lamp at some point and have him stop walking when he launches, when the moth launches, and then only start walking when the moth has successfully reached that waypoint. Right, so let's copy that. Enough of my rambling about random nonsense. Let's put them and them on there. And hopefully, there's enough of a gap around those gyros that they're not going to scrub. Right, so that's that. Probably do a bit more armor on this guy, so let me find my screenshots of the build I was working on the other day. Or rather the build I was copying, sort of copying this from. I think a delay in the lamp's timer might be enough. It's not using a lot of timers, it's mostly using event controllers. I think I need to put a timer into it to delay it, but you are right. If it just had a delay in it, it might be fine. But that relies on the moth AI behaving itself, so I'm not sure. I can do it a couple of different ways. I can put a relay on the moth to send a signal to the lamp when the moth has got to the right location, or I can just put a timer on the lamp that delays its walk cycle for like 10 or 20 seconds until the moth's had time to get itself where it needs to be. Because that's another great one that we've had recently, is relays. I don't know if people use them as much as they could be doing, because relays are basically a timer with a antenna connected to it. They're literally just radio timers. They're really, really cool. I love relays, and I don't see enough people using them. Where's that? Ah, there it is. There's the screenshots I was looking for. Or one of them, anyway. That's that, and that's the back end of it. Cool. Right, okay. B. Right, what should we do about armoring this dude then? For a start, let's put back the beam blocks that I removed earlier. When we were doing his leg surgery. I'll put them back in there. Nice. And that could come out there and there. Just put some regular armor blocks in the sides there. The balance beacon is set up, so we don't need to do anything with that. So let's move up a little bit for a start. Oh, that's that. I'm back in survival. Maybe Splitsley used scripts for relay functions. I think it even depended on separate antennas for every one. To be honest, separate antennas for everyone, that seems a little bit excessive. You can have one antenna to send all the signals. Having separate relays for different functions is fine. Because relays do have a set signal function, but that can get a little bit messy, particularly if you want to send relay signals back and forth to each other. I tend to use separate relays for different commands. Separate antennas for every relay, that sounds insanely overcomplicated. Making it more complicated for yourself. And that connects up to there. Yeah, that's alright actually. Cool. Some ideas are starting to come together. Yeah, we might do some of these on the side. We need to weld some of this in a minute, because all this wireframe gets a bit confusing to look at. There we go, that can go there, that can go there. What's that? It was absolutely complicated when there were no relays. Leaning back and enjoyingly. Oh, you mean he was sort of creating relay functions using a script and multiple antennas? That makes more sense. I thought you meant he just had a script, some relays, and a bunch of antennas for some reason. No, that does make more sense if he was trying to create a relay function with what he had at the time. Yeah, the relay blocks are great. I love them. Means I can get my robots to be more automated. They can send commands that they need to when they want to for all sorts of docking sequences and various things. Oh, actually, you know what? Take that out and replace it with a solid cube, so it's a little bit more secure and more protected. Right, let's let's. Nope. Too close there. Let's figure out some of the armor around this cockpit. What do we have going on here? We're going to be doing something like that. And what do we have going on under there? I think it was that one. Yeah, because then I can put that there. That there. Yeah, that's the right one. Cool. Number 5. Where are we? That block, and then flip that over. We're going up to there nicely. Oh yay, I'm getting irradiated again. Lovely. Cool, then that should line up fairly nicely down here. So what we do here, that will be that, that would be that. That would be me getting beamed in the head again. There's the right button, there it is. And that would be that. And that all lines up quite nicely. Cool. Ah, we're gonna have to go and hide from the radiation for a minute. It's going to start getting dangerous in a second. Right. Really. Right, we'll wait to not get irradiated anymore. What do we do? What do we do in the meantime while we wait? What a radiation to pass. I like that gap, but I also don't want to move that light. What other decorative blocks have we got that I can build in here? Lockers, weapon racks. Oh, I've already got them on there. Lockers. Ooh, I could build. Oh no, you'd still see the gap. It wouldn't make a difference. We built that there. It just covers the lights. Maybe the inverted corridor block next to the door. Inverted corridor? Right, corridors on here. Of course I haven't. Bump, 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 bump. What have we got? We've got passages and we've got corridors. You know, it's a problem for later. The storm stopped. Let's get back to the robot. Yeah, we'll figure out next time, Arkville. I might remodel. Well, I probably will remodel at some point. I'm always trying out new ideas. I'm currently in the middle of building a showcase world for all of my sort of best stuff I've made in the last year or so. From you barely got a chance to get out the ground before you got shot. Ha 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 ha. No, oh yeah, there is another spider before I get cocky. Thank you. I think one of my guns might be out of ammunition. Interior wall inverted. Yeah, there's so many blocks now with so many different subcategories. It gets a bit confusing as to which one's which. No, you do have ammunition. You just couldn't be bothered shooting, but you don't have very much. So let's give you 4 of them. What have you got? No, you're fine. Apparently you've been doing most of the shooting. Right, where were we? Oh yeah, we were going to weld up this side here. Oh yeah, can I reach that without falling off? No, I can't. There we go. Right, so what else do we need to put into this robot? We've got weapons on him. We need to figure out some thrusters. Don't want to go too mad with the armor yet, because in case we need to put more bits, more control bits into him, but I do want to get enough of his armor welded up and in place that he's not just a skeleton walking around with no protection. Right. That block was a placeholder. That can come out. That space might be better served as a functional block. Take that one out too. Right, what are we gonna do with the armor? Ooh, up at the top. We are gonna do something like that. That can come out there. Yeah, we've got a bit of a layer of armor over the top of the cockpits. Not really got enough room to move between the ceiling and the top of this mech. Did we put any air vents on this thing? We have not, so you know what, rather than sit there getting jigged around by the physics. Now, put the skiff back down again. There we go. So, let's put a air vent. Oop. There we go. I'm still moving around. Let's pop an air vent. Yeah, the same colour as the armour. Hey, I have enough parts for it, and then that can feed directly into the cockpit so we can breathe while we're operating the mech. You know, I'll do all the naming in a bit. The rest of this can just be armor blocks for the moment. Basically going to be the top of the mech. Which more of them across the back. them in there. That's as much as I'll do for the armour on the top of him for the moment. Oh yeah, let's get this. Oop. Let's get this side panel in here. Which way is that going? That way. There we go. And that block in there. Bum ba bum. That can live there, and then that can live there. That can go in the gap. That can go up there. Beautiful. That's all the way around, that's why. There we go. Oh yeah, let's do... Oop. Too close. What was it? It was that. There we go, that's the right angle. And that can go there, and then... where is it? That can go there. Beautiful. Right. Oh yeah, I also wanted to redesign the feet a little bit as well. They is a bit wobbly in that configuration. Can't go any higher. No, but that should be alright. Now, what was that other foot design I thought of? Yeah, I'm just going to completely grind these off and start again. In fact, we will though. Copy some of those settings. Those feet look cool. The only problem is they are very tippy from here to here and here to here. Which means you can tip forward and right, forward and left, backwards and right, and backwards and left a little bit. I want to make the feet a slightly more square configuration to give him a little bit more support when he's walking around. There we go, that works. Right, so let's just do all left-hand suspensions on the left-hand side. We have that one facing in like so. How did I do that with a foot? Do I have any screenshots of those other feet? I'm sure I took some screenshots of it. Give me one moment. That's the most recent one. Bet the screenshots on top of it. I haven't got any feet in the bloody picture. That one might be the right one. Sort of. Yeah, I can just about see the feet in that picture. That will do. Yeah, that'll do. Groovy. Right, let's put you on the other screen. So you are not in the way. Okay, right, so foot design. What are we going to do here? So we have that one facing in like so. We're going to have one on the front. And one on the back. And then we are going to have another 2 on the side like that. Yeah, that's not too big. And should work quite nicely. Seems to work alright on another mech I've been building that's got a similar configuration to this one. I'm gonna have to go and get large steel tubes though, I bet. Just bet. I don't know. Have I got enough large steel tubes to roll open? Oh, I have. Cool. Right, so copy, paste those details onto all of these wheels. That one needs invert steering. And that one needs invert steering. There we go. And then what I can do is I can actually spread these toes out a little bit. So that one, we'll put you on minus 20. That seems like a reasonable number. Copy all of those settings. Oh, you need to re-invert that wheel. There we go, and that should be a little bit more square. You don't need a massive amount of support on the inside, because you'll always have the other foot helping with that. That should help him stop tipping over sideways a little bit more. And the extra wheel should help provide him with a little bit more friction. So we'll do the same thing on this one, so let's grind the suspensions all the way off again. Do the wheels first, because they're a nightmare to try and grind off a large grid floor. They roll around too much. Brilliant. Right. Right hand wheels. How did we align them? We had that like so. Like so. That one's like that. Like that. And like that. Yeah, that's one. I didn't copy any of the names, but it doesn't really matter. Steel, obviously. Let's go grab some more steel. Oh, hey, Deathlock. So what's this mech going to be used for? There's a Streamlabs shout out not worked properly. Streamlabs continues to not work properly, as always. This mech is mostly, it's going to be kind of knocking everything. It's going to be sort of exploration, light combat kind of mech. The kind of mech, hopefully, that I can use to go and check out installations and test their security and see what I can do with it and that kind of thing. Because I've got my Zebra, which is my Respawn Mech for general wandering about and gathering and things. But he's quite low to the ground, and he's already managed to smash a leg and an arm off, which I had to replace just by going over bumpy terrain. So my plan is to have this guy be able to walk, but I also want to try and see if I can get kind of jetpack on the back of him, so I can fly around in him as well. Because it'd be quite good to have the flight options in combat. Because as you will well know yourself, Deathlock, that mechs are cool in Space Engineers, but they're not the best for practical combat when it comes to fighting, like the vanilla installations and that. So giving them the ability to fly around, rather than just plod around at a walking speed getting pelted with artillery shells or whatever it is, would probably be quite helpful. Let's just go and grab a bunch of steel. Steel. We run out of it again. How close are we to running out of iron? We're getting there. Alright, well, we're gonna have to go and get more iron in a bit, which means I'm probably gonna have to try and fix the drill rig, because that broke last time and I'm not sure why. Anyway, in the meantime, produce me some more steel, please. Yeah, we are gonna have to go and get more iron very soon. In fact, it's probably worth just doing it now. Once I've got this foot rebuilt. There we go. Right, we can copy that. I'm not just going to rename it when I've pasted it. So that is going to be R01, and that needs to be inverted. Copy all those details again. Copy, paste, invert that. Copy, paste, that's one's fine. Copy, paste, invert that, although it's not the one I thought I was aiming at. And there we go. Oh yeah, we need to set that height offset to 0. Oh no. Minus 0.2, that's the one. And you would be the same? Yeah, cool. Right, so I'm going to need more iron in a minute because I want to build thrusters, and I'm going to need lots of iron for thrusters, so... Oh. Lamp bot has died. Where is Moth? Where is Moth? Moth is there, being stupid. What are you doing, Moth? Oh, you still having issues? Lamp, dock. AI is not on. Oh, Moth. Moth, Moth, Moth. Docking, lamp. Set up actions. Trigger. Please don't smash yourself to pieces again. Oh, that bug is back again, where you forget your settings. Why does that keep happening? You can remember that one, but you keep forgetting the other one. Oh, damn it. Right, play. Oh, bugs, 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 bugs. Docking lamp. Trigger. Yeah, it seems to be a bug with some of the AI blocks where they forget their designated beacons. Right, we're charging again now. Okay. Not quite sure how to resolve that one. Oh, hey, Outcast. Sorry, I didn't see you over there on Twitch. What's that? Looks like a mix of suits from Avatar and Liberty Prime. Yeah, I suppose so. To be honest, I've only seen Avatar, like, once, I think. Not the biggest fan of James Cameron's later work. Avatar's a little bit too much of a CGI fest for me, so I can't really remember much of it. So, oh, yeah, we need to go and fix something else that's broken. Because you were having issues last time, for some reason. Your drilling sequence smagged up. Yeah, because you've got all sorts of lights on you that are blinking, that shouldn't be blinking. Scarab lights. What is blinking that shouldn't be? Drill AI light, that shouldn't be on. Ejector light, that shouldn't be on. Those are the things that are turned off. Okay, right. What the hell went wrong with your controls last time? Dock start, that's fine. I'm sure something went wrong with the relays. Docking relay set to 2. That's set to 2. That's 3. That's 3. Launchers 1. Launchers 1. Brain both 4. That's fine. Okay, well, I'm going to save here just in case it all goes catastrophically wrong. What do we need? We needed iron. Let's go back over here then. We'll try launching him. And see if it all goes catastrophically wrong or not. So, where was the iron resource? We basically dug most of that side out now, so let's move some of this barrier and get some of this bit. Next it goes all the way back there, doesn't it? Yeah, there's loads of it here. Ugh, we're gonna have to cover so much of this with iron eventually. With steel blocks or something. Right, let's drill out, grind out some of this. Yeah, so we aim for this section here. Where's my targeting hologram? There we go. I aim him about there. Let's launch the drone and see if he wants to behave himself. Seems to be working okay at the moment. He's drilling. He's chucking out the garbage. That's all fine. Mech's worst nightmare mining hole. Yeah, that's why I put the barriers up. Because when I was testing out the Stalker, He nearly ran straight into the hole while I was testing him. So yeah, I put up a barrier so his AI sensor has got something to react to, and he really doesn't like that waypoint over there. He gets so annoyed by that waypoint. Right, well, you seem to be drilling okay. I do wonder what got screwed up in your controls last time. Your inventory is about halfway. Might fill up with iron without me having to manually recall you. Maybe not. It looks like you've gotten through that iron. You're going to scrape enough that your auto fill is going to kick in, or is it just, yeah, you've punched through it. Docking, right. Is your docking sequence going to work properly? Yeah, all seems to be working properly. Yeah, it seems to work fine there. No idea why you got all screwed up last time. Must just been space engineers being space engineers. Getting a little bit screwy. Ooh, actually. Before we go anywhere, let's put some barriers back here. So that robots don't do silly things. So we'll just space some of them out. Yeah, the AI blocks are great at being able to control grids and get them to move around, but collision avoidance on the AI blocks is generally designed for flying in the air and avoiding basically anything it might encounter, and doesn't really help much for mechs. So I usually, what I end up doing is pretty much all of my mechs generally have a sensor on the front of them somewhere that has some combination of turning off the walk controls. So when something gets in its way, it will stop walking. And that is pretty much the only way I've really been able to get around that. Like this guy, for example. If I step in his way, he will stop. If I get out of his way, he will carry on. However, if I turn the collision avoidance on his AI blocks, he would try and run away from the floor, and that just causes all sorts of erratic behaviour that we don't want. Right, okay. The Sphinx and the Scarab seem to be working okay. One button. How much iron did we get out of that? 43k. That'll do us for a while. Awesome. Right, we'll park you back up, and we can carry on with the mech. Oh yeah, I need to maybe think about redesigning the connector on this, because it's a bit low, and it got smashed up on those bridges, didn't it? Why did I get out of the front of the seat that time? Whatever. Yeah, stock seems to be working okay. Seems to be quite happily plodding along. Probably do with adding some lights to his docking bay at some point. Right, back to this. What's the battery like on the skiff? 47%. Okay. Right, so what else can we do with you? Oh, I know something else that I need to do with this guy. Is basically, I want him to be accessible from the floor, because I'm in a no jetpack world, and he is way too high. I can't jump up there. You can't interact with things while climbing a ladder. So, what we're going to do is we are going to program him with the ability to crouch down towards me. Now, I haven't set anything up for that yet, have I? No, I have not. That automation spare timer block is somewhere else. I could make it a switch control. Yeah, so I can toggle it on and off. Okay, for that we are going to need another event controller. We'll need a event controller, a light, and another timer. And we're going to put a light for this thing. You know, the light can actually go absolutely anywhere, and it can be moved very easily. So we will just I don't know why I'm spinning up here. We will just slap that on there for now. And we will just call it Crouch Light. Rename all of this nonsense in a bit. What's that, Deathlock? Crouch and put arm hand out to jump on lol. To be honest, his arms are probably going to be too high for that, but his cockpit will be easily reachable from below. If I was building a bigger mech, like a Gundam-sized mech, I'd totally have it, like, reach out with his hand or something. Oh, that gives me ideas, that does. That'd be actually a really cool way of getting into a cockpit in a mech. I could totally animate that. That is for a different project, though. Actually, that might be for one of my other side projects. Yeah, I do really like that idea, Deathlock. That is quite a cool one. Because I do quite enjoy finding ways of animating the robots with event controllers to do things like that. Right, what else did I need? I need event controller and timer. Because we can use the walk reset timer to make him stand back up again. That's not a problem. We just need a timer to make him crouch. Now, where could I put said crouch timer? Ah, you know what, we'll put it there. So that's all the walk controls down there. Oh, actually, you know what? We will pop... I like to try and keep groups of controls kind of close to each other. So we will have the event controller for the crouch mode there. I am falling off. Please don't fall off. Damn. It happened. So we'll have the event controller to control the crouch mode there. And we will have the timer for the crouch mode there. So that can be crouch for now. And, oh yeah, so, well, you up. And you can be controller, crouch mode, on. Let's get you out the way so you don't get kicked through the air. That's too far away though. There we go. Right. So, crouch. ASTR-01. Let's give you a little designation. So, crouch mode controller will be block switched on and off. We are going to use that crouch light as the trigger for it. Right, so we need... How do we want to do this? I'll have that turn off there in the first slot. In the... it won't be that one, it will be that one. That'll turn off there, that will turn on there, and then that will trigger there, and then we can have the... Oh, hang on. No. We're trying to make this universally repairable if possible, so... we need to make that a group, rather than use the block by itself. So that... get turned into that group. We'll swap that for the group version rather than the block version. Because if you use a block and your event controller gets damaged or the block gets damaged or destroyed and you replace the block, the event controller will no longer have that block assigned because you have technically replaced it with a new one. Whereas if you use groups, the event controller remembers the group, and if you replace the block and then add it to a new group with the exact same name, it will drop those blocks right into place. So that's why a lot of my modern builds have got 10,000 groups. But from what I've seen from the latest SE2 blog post, we're going to be able, we can minimize groups, and I also noticed that we're going to be able to create subgroups in SE2 and minimize them as well, and I'm wondering how that's going to work with programming in the future. But it does look nice on SE2 that you can clean up your control panel and make it a little less messy and chaotic. Right, so that's going to be that. Then we need the reset group. Right, let's go back to the start. That can turn off there, that can turn on there, and then that can trigger there. We'll also make a group for the crouch light. We'll pop that into here. Crouch light can turn green when it's triggered, and then turn orange when it's turned off. Off, on, off, on. Cool. Now we just need to create some crouch controls. So, you know, I'm just going to do this in Spectator. So I need these legs to reset to a nice, comfortable position. So let's have a look and see what that actually is. I might have that leg rotate to 355. Which means the foot would need to rotate to 85, I think. Foot's flat. Hopefully not so far that that's going to start scrubbing. Could actually potentially extend the feet down another block to give that some more room, but we'll mess with that later. So that's 55, which means this should be 5 degrees. So I don't want to go all the way to 0, because the event controllers and things get a bit funny at 0 sometimes. Which means that would then be 85 as well. It's going to be rough for now. It's all going to get set with toolbar commands. And then that, we reverse it and reverse it. It's not compact enough for me, so reverse and reverse. Now, did I put set angles for them? So what we do on this reset, we are rotating those legs back. Velocity, rotate, arm, arm, arm. No, I did not. Right, we need to change up some of these controls then, because I want the knees to compact down a little bit further. But that has been 2 hours, so I am going to quickly have a little bio break and grab myself a fresh cup of tea, and we'll build and test the crouch mode after that. So, Lampbot, are you being stupid? You are being stupid. Let me manually move him out of the way myself. There we go. Right. He's off on his jollies again. He's doing his thing. I will leave you with this view of my base for 5 minutes while I grab a fresh cup of tea and quickly nip to the loo. So yeah, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a couple of minutes and we will carry on playing with this new mech suit. Right, we are back again. Oh, hello, I've got a new subscriber. Hello, Jacob. Thank you very much. And Daily Dose of Idiocy. Glad to see more space engineers. New subscriber here. Is this run completely survival? Yes, it is. I mean, I occasionally tinker around with my spectator camera just to make the building in this warehouse a little bit better, but other than that, it is very much full survival. It is so survival that I've deliberately hobbled myself, and I don't even have a jetpack that worked properly, so I have to come up with creative ways of getting around to build stuff. So yeah, full survival. Speaking of, let's have some food so that we don't starve to death. Right, so what else were we doing? Oh yeah, we were setting up crouch controls for this robot so I can get into the cockpit without said jetpack. That does not work. Right, so what are we doing? Reset the legs. We need to make some adjustments to this. Right, what do we need to do? We need to... what's that? Oh wow, I can never go without a jetpack. To be honest, it's something I've done for this stream and one of and my current edited survival series. Just because it makes the building challenges a little bit more interesting when you don't have the ability to just freely fly around everywhere. My jetpack does still work because I couldn't figure out how to disable it completely. But I've just made it so that it burns through fuel in like literally a split second, so there's no point refueling it. And like I said, it adds a bit more building challenge. So what we're doing, I need to get these legs to reset to that position. That is just setting velocity. So if I what's that? It's like turning on hardcore mode. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it does make it a little bit more difficult. Well, actually, in the walk reset, I just need the legs to rotate back to a particular angle. I might have to edit walk start as well, so let's have a look at that. Walk start. You're the one that sets up. Oh yeah, right. I know that's the. Oh no, that is the right group. That sets up the angles correctly. That's fine then. Yeah, set uppers, set lowers, set uppers, set lowers. Right, that is cool. I don't need to edit anything there. I accounted for that before I even got started, so that can in fact just be rotate back to, what angle was it? 10. So reset, walk control. Leg group L02 and R02, that can just be rotate to angle 10 at we'll call it 5 RPM, so actually no. I'll go back with that. What velocity are those hinges actually moving at? 15 RPM, that sounds a bit fast. We'll call it 10 and see what that's like. So yeah, leg 02, rotate to angle 10 degrees at 10 RPM. rotate to angle 10 degrees at 10 RPM. That should make the legs stand back up again. Daily Dose of Idiocy. Have I been paying attention to the updates on Space Engineers 2? I absolutely have done. I've been glued to them since they first teased the mechanical blocks a few months ago, and I am following every single update like a hawk for any more information on either mechanical blocks or the logic blocks, because I desperately want to start building mechs and mechanical things in Space Engineers 2, and yeah, like I said, waiting on those bits. So yeah, I'm absolutely following those updates. And trust me, I'll be the first to know and the first to start playing with them, because there is no one paying attention to those updates on mechanical blocks more than I am at the minute. I'm pretty certain. To be honest, I'm a little bit guilty of pestering the devs and the community managers and their live streams a little bit, going, when's there going to be more information? Come on, we need more details. Right, so that's set to that. That should be fine, which means I can now set these as something a little bit more compact. We can get them a little bit tighter to the ground. So, how far does that go before it looks like it's going to scrub? We'll call it 80. We get away with 80 on this end as well? No, we can't. Alright. Call it 70 and 70 then. So that it all matches up nicely. I've loved how they've added water and water physics. Yes, that is one of the features of SE2 I'm really looking forward to tinkering around with. Because I would love to make aquatic robots. I'd love to make, like, we were joking in one of my streams a week or two ago about making a kraken and robotic sea monsters and stuff like that, and that's something I've always wanted to do. And the water mod for SE1, you kinda can do that stuff, but it's like, I mean, the water mod's good, but it's trying to like re-engineer stuff into the game, and it doesn't quite work in some areas. Whereas SE2 has got purpose-made water physics, and they look real cool. And I'm dying to see how subgrid mechanics and subgrid physics interact with the water physics. Right, so we'll call it that. Now, what do the arms look like if I start forwards? A bit too much reach there. Because that looks dumb if it does that. Let's put that back. That knocks into there, and if that knocks into there, that means the angle on that is a little bit too extreme, so that needs to be 15. There we go. Right. Let's make that 15 as well. Yeah, we can set the elbows to pitch forward like that when it crouches too. That'll hopefully keep it from smashing the end of the guns onto the floor. So let's add them into the crouch mode timer. Oh, we need to do the legs actually as well. So, leg rotors. ASTR. Let's reduce that down a bit. What's that? Daily dose. The way they're organising the exploration in SE2 is crazy cool. You explore one section in a galaxy at a time and then progress onward. I'd love to see what mods come out for SE2. I'd also love to see them add physical natural gases and other liquids and oils. Well, they have mentioned the ideas of other liquids and things. I imagine that stuff will make its way into the game once they've got the basic water physics nailed down. Because I keep seeing people mentioning lava in the live streams all the time. Oh, add lava, add lava. It's like, guys, let them figure out the basics first. Once they've got the basics in, they can start retooling it to do other stuff. Because technically things like lava and oil, they've all got different consistencies to water, and do you want all these things to work exactly the same way and just be reskins? Or do you want them to have individual properties? But yeah, the water stuff looks like it's going to be awesome. So, we need to rotate these legs. So what did we say? The left one was 55, wasn't it? Let's make him crouch a little bit slower, because 10 RPM, he might just drop and damage himself. So we'll rotate that to 3, 5, 5 at, we'll call it 5 RPM. And that can be set that to clockwise, I think. What's that? You know that you'll have to completely upgrade your PC setup if you ever want to play SE2. Yeah, my computer's not too bad with it at the minute, but I get the feeling that once we've got all of the vegetation and all of the, like, environmental litter and all of the water, that it's going to start chugging a little bit, so I might need to upgrade myself in the near future. So that can be that, and then the right-hand leg can be rotate to angle 5 degrees at 5 RPM. And that's going to be going counterclockwise. Because sometimes, if you just let it automatically rotate, it can go the wrong way. So that'll rotate them. Then hinges. ASTR. What did we say for them? Said it was 70, didn't we? So that can be rotate to 70, 5 RPM. The right knee can be rotated to 70, 5 RPM as well. And then what did we call the ankles? We called them 85, didn't we? Yeah, cool. So then the ankles can rotate to 85 at 5 RPM. Again, 85 at 5 RPM. Then we'll get those arm hinges. I want just the hinges in the elbows. Let's make it the group then. Hinge, arm, elbows. Let's grab that one and that one. That is not how you spell elbows. That is how you spell elbow. Crouch mode. Set of actions. ASTR elbow. Put that there to separate it from the leg controls. And that is reversing from the look of it, so I'll call that -5. So hopefully if I turn that off, there we go, that'll reset, turn it on, crouches down. Groovy. Let's jump out of there then. Then I should be able to just pop the crouch light in there, and we can have a button on his foot that'll make him crouch down to ground level, and we can jump in the cockpit. And then we can carry on. Now, if I'm in that cockpit and I press the forward key, it engages the walk cycle stuff, but it doesn't reset the arms properly because the reset timer is... yeah. Okay, so we need to account for that. Crouch mode. Oh, there we go, that's back, and then that's back. Right, so we need to turn off the walk timer. Bum. The best way of doing that. So I need to turn off the warp controls when he's in crouch mode. So what can we do about that? When we activate crouch mode, it can also turn off what we need to... Ooh, actually, a simple way of getting it to turn stuff off. ASTR thrusters. So these thrusters are what control the walk cycle stuff. So if we make a group for that, what we can do is we can add that group into the walk controls. So ASTR thrusters. That's not how you do it. ASTR thrusters. There we go. We can add that there. We can turn them off when crouch mode is activated. Ooh, and we can also name them. Oh yeah, I've not tagged them appropriately, that's why. So those are our gyroscopes that we actually control the mech with. We'll make a group for them too. Crouch mode, we can... Let's move that elbow group. Set velocity 5 RPM. Let's move that there. We can turn off the thrusters, and we can turn off the gyros. So that way, it will stop being able to move around and stop us from using the walk controls whilst it's crouched. Then in the reset, we can just turn that stuff back on again, and it won't affect the walk cycle controls because that'll already be turned on anyway. So ASTR thrusters, we'll drop that group into there, turn that back on there. Gyro control, turn that back on there. let's add a button for crouch mode to the toolbar. Crouch mode is on. I can no longer move the mech around, and I am not engaging any of the walk controls until I reactivate the standing mode, and then we can move around, we can walk forwards, we can walk backwards. And my control gyros are back online again. Groovy, that would work there. Cool. Right, so that's the crouch mode. What else do we need to do? We really need to start sorting out this toolbar down here. So we also need to name some other bits. So that battery, ASTR, you are our main power source for the moment. So we'll add a recharge control for you. Just build info gives me the charge value. We haven't got the bits for those reactors yet, but we will still set them up. ASTR. What's that? That's the left hand one. That's the right hand one. Right, URL 01. You are R01, and we'll make a group for you when we eventually get some silver, which I want to go looking for. I could probably find some with this dude. So yeah, reactors on and off, that can go there. We've also got a docking connector we need to set up. Oh yeah, that means we need to set up some docking controls as well eventually. ASTR. Docking. Ports, because it's a much nicer, shorter word. Basically, I'm at the stage these days with any functional block that I'm going to use for any kind of command, I make a group for it. Because it just makes it easier for replacing parts further down the line. Because we can't do subgrid projection. So this is my kind of workaround. Right, so that can go there. That can, we might end up... We're going to end up building a docking bay for this guy eventually, so I'll end up with a relay to do that. In fact, I'm going to need a couple of other relays. Right, that can be that. Then the next page, we will set up... oh, I know what. Here for now. We will have the crouch light there for the moment. So we've got a crouch command on our toolbar right next to our docking controls. Right, next page then, we will set that up with some of the arm weapon stuff, but I've not made a group for that light. That. Arm weapon active, that can go there, that can turn our entire arm system on and off. Oh, I can't do that with that. The only actions you can't use a group for is the control action. You can use groups for everything else, but if you want to control an individual block, you have to use the actual block command itself. There's no control here. So we'll control the lower part of the left arm, the lower part of the right arm. That's asteroids exploding in the distance. We'll add that so we can see our weapon count. ASTR, control unit arms, and then we can have some controls for all of the AI blocks that are in the arms. Yeah, occasionally we might want to shoot friendlies, and occasionally we might want to shoot neutrals. There we go, so I can turn the arms on, and then I've got some buttons to control the lower half of each arm. Groovy. Although I do feel like they can lift up too high and that looks goofy. But let's bring that down a bit. Make it 45 instead. Yeah, looks a bit better. I'll turn them off. That resets them. Wonderful. Right, so we're gonna need... we are gonna need to make a docking port for this guy eventually. And that will probably... probably actually might have to start it on this stream. What's your battery like? 100% charge. Okay, cool. And I won't build thrusters on this dude, but he is attached to a series of subgrids which will get very, very upset if I start playing with thrusters while he's attached to that. Oh, the storm's rolling in. So, it might be time to chop this... oh, not chop this dude down. Oh, actually I'm going to chop some stuff off. It might be time to take this dude down and then work on him off the little workshop mounting point. Ooh, also the skiff needs to go on charge. And another storm has rolled in and is irradiating me, so yeah, now's a perfect time to put some of this stuff back. Let this charge back up. And we can get ourselves lined up properly. Ooh, pressing the wrong button. There we go. Pardon me. Ah, there we go, better. Right, getting irradiated again. Let's get back inside for a few minutes and we'll come back to this dude. You know, actually, let's go and check out the farm. Where's the moth? Oh, for God's sake, where's the moth gone? Moth. Oh, God, where's that thing gone? Oh, let's get inside, we'll figure that out in a second. Thank you. Where's the moth gone? Crap. The moth is no longer on my radar. Okay. I bet it's floated off into space, hasn't it? Or it's gone crashing down somewhere. Moth, where are you? Oh, you're in pieces. All the way over here. What the hell happened there? Okay. Didn't realise that happened. Well, there's obviously some fundamental flaws with the Moth. I'm gonna have to rebuild it. Luckily, I've got a blueprint for it. Damn it. What the heck happened there? Alright, well that's something for me to fix off stream. Do that later. Well, that's a shame. I didn't realise that had happened. Didn't even hear an explosion. Oh well, that's a sad end to him. Damn. Oh well, I'll fix that later. I wonder why that happened. Why was he over there? Oh, yeah, the stupid problem that I was talking about earlier. He was probably following him around, trying to reach that thing, and then... yeah, I know what happened. Damn. Oh well, we'll fix him next time. In fact, if I rebuild the Moth, maybe I should give him some feet to help him land in case of accidents like that. Because he literally just had a connector at the very bottom of him. And nothing to land on. Oh well. Right, so... bring that down. Oh, he's not quite low enough. You know what? We'll just do that. Whatever. You're getting disconnected anyway, and now we can reach that from the floor. No problem. Right, let's set up your balance control, because that might need resetting. Let's point, what's the B? Where the hell's the beacon gone? Oh, it's called... yeah, that's why. I just called it test, I haven't renamed it properly. Right, ASTR-01. Beacon. That doesn't need to broadcast 20 kilometers. It doesn't need to broadcast more than 10 meters, actually. Simpler. Right, balance, control, that AI block. Now look at that beacon there. Your gyros are supposed to be off when you're down here in crouch mode. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, your gyros should be off. Why can I move the mech? Because there's only one gyro in the group, that's why. Right. They should all be off. No thruster power, no gyro power. That's the way it should be. There we go, we can stand up, and everything is on. Go, we can walk backwards. We can turn around. And the extra gyro seems to be helping with his balance side to side, and the new foot position seems to be helping as well. Oh, and we could do with turning our main battery on, so we have got more than 17 minutes of power. There we go. And what's that group that's no longer on the toolbar anymore? Oh, I grabbed the wrong reactors, you idiot. The STR reactors. Oh, I can't add them to the thing because they're not welded up yet. Yeah, whatever. Okay, whatever, that makes sense. Yeah, there we go. Right, it's got 3 hours of power plodding around like so. Then we can crouch him back down. The balance control keeps him nice and level. Ooh, spiders. Love of God, don't shoot my new robot. Just finished building him. Stray bullets there. Thank you. Okay, groovy. Oh, I'm gutted about the moth. I'm gonna have to figure out a better way of setting him up. Okay, cool. So you can be accessed from floor level. We can turn you on. Turn all those signals off. I don't need them cluttering up the screen. We can walk around. We can activate the arms. We actually need to turn friendly fire on that off now. Turn them off. Yeah, cool. Right. What do we need to do next then? Figuring out somewhere to dock him so we can get power and ammunition into him would probably be a good idea, because then once I've got that set up I can figure out what I'm doing with the back end of him. Oh, the poor moth. Damn. Little thing. Oh, he's still got power as well. He's half alive down there. That's a hole in the floor I'm gonna have to patch up as well. Brilliant. Right, what could we do with this dude? Where could we build a thing for him? To be honest, I might just build another little docking bay. Right here, actually. Yeah, we'll probably need a docking bay around here somewhere. I'll you down again then. Probably also going to need to put some work lights on this guy as well. So, docking bay kind of thing. One thing we can get this dude into. Space that 2 blocks. Do. What could we do? Oh, who's that? Is the corpse of the moth blocking your docking route? Your patrol route? Has he managed to crash in a very, very inconvenient place? Looks like he may have done. Let me just check these. STK. Your patrol routes. Let's turn them on. Oh, right, yeah. You would have to have landed right in the way, wouldn't you? You know what? Let's just grind you back down. Sad end to a robot that's been nothing but a pain in the bum. Obviously need to come up with a better design. Annoying. Drops have just completely vanished. Mustn't have been much left in that. Yeah, because you're literally just a battery now. All your AI blocks took all the brunt of that crash. Oh, hello, Father Prax. The moth crashed. The moth got confused. I only noticed because I came out of the workshop to figure out where to build a docking bay for this guy. Saw that he wasn't in his docking bay and the lamp bot was walking around. Which means the lamp bot's going to run out of charge in a minute. Probably before the end of the stream. But yeah, when I just went into the admin panel because I couldn't find the moth in my radio signals. And it turned out he had crashed over here. Yeah, RIP indeed. He was obviously a flawed design and needs an upgrade, so I will do that in the future, and when the lamp bot runs out of power, he is just going to have to sit there for a bit until his solar panels build up enough charge for him. I also need to patch this stupid hole in the floor now. At least temporarily. Because it just so happens to be right in the way of the Stalker's patrol route. Because of course it is. So, I'm just going to put that there for now. Hopefully that'll be enough. To be honest, it's lucky that the moth didn't come crashing down on the Stalker. Because yeah, that's like literally right in the middle of his patrol route. So that could have been very, very, very tragic. Yeah, I definitely need to rethink how that moth is getting rebuilt. But for now, we're worrying about this mech. Oh, hello, Creator Capital. Was that, oh, sorry, that was you that said RIP. Yeah, we'll just come up with a better design for him. Right, well, we need somewhere to dock this dude. so I can finish them off properly. Bum 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 bum. So, let's space some stuff out. Give it a 3-block gap. Would have made it a bigger gap on that side, really, but that's what it is. Actually, maybe we might just stick with what we've done so far. Leave it at 2. So that can be the gap, and then we'll have the beginning of a docking pad there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. 8, 9. What? How wide are you, mate? One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 7 blocks wide. Call it 9, so I've got some room to maneuver around inside it. And that kind of lines up with there. It's not sticking out too much. I think that'll be alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just end up being a 9x9 cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's too much apparently, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I miscounted. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah. That's why I miscounted, because I'm an idiot. Right, yeah, that'll be alright for that, I reckon. So let's fill the floor in. Is that still the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, that's the middle. Right, so this dude, we're going to try and do something elaborate and probably quite stupid. But that is generally the name of my game. We are going to have to change the Lampbot's patrol route, because we're going to have a ramp coming down here. In fact, actually, let's just turn you off for the minute to conserve your power. I need to change your route, and I won't be able to change your route if you've already run out of battery power. I'm gutted about the moth. Oh well. Right, so we'll have rotor in the middle on which we will build a rotating platform for him to stand on. So we're going to need to add a small rotor head to that. There we go. Right, finally let me target the right thing. Where's my nearest conveyor access? It's all the way over there. Give me some more bits. You. Right. Awkward angle. That can go there. That will stop spinning. That is now welded up. We will do 0 and 0 that. Give it a little bit of RPM so it goes back to the middle. To back you off a bit. What's that, Father Prax? If the moth didn't work, then we should replace it with a caterpillar. The caterpillar won't be able to climb up onto the top of the lamp, though. That's a problem. I've not really experimented much with caterpillar-type mechs. Closest thing to that, really, is the Strider Armoured Core build that I've been tinkering with on and off. But I've not actually done any specifically caterpillar type thing. Right, we get the front of this welded up. Also need more steel plates. I need to build conveyor access over here. In fact, actually, let's build some better conveyor access over here. Where could I put some that would be useful? And conveniently positioned. Ooh, what I might do. Maybe that. Out there. That. There, I want to find the right angle. Oh, spiders. Bad time to not have my gun equipped. There's my gun. You are way too close to get. Oh dear. A little help there, Mech. You're supposed to be targeting bad guys. Thank you. Thank you. I think that AI blocks only have line of sight when it comes to spiders and things. Now your AI is reset, so you're going to try and walk around the entire base. So let me just trick you into going back over there. There we go, right. That was a little bit close for comfort with those spiders. I need to build more defences over this side, apparently. Anyway, let's weld that back up. That's all connected back up again. Everything is green. Groovy. Let's put a couple of pipes in here. Where's the straight one gone? In fact, let's use a flanged one. One of them. Straight one. One of them. And then I might stick that like that. Or actually, it was, oh no, it's going to be too low. That's going to be way too low. Yeah, so let's have that there. Then we could just pop cargo terminal on the top of that if I can find the right angle. There's the front. There's the front. Yeah, I might just pop that there. Have a bit of cargo access out here. Just gotta get some bits for that. And we can stop running all the way over to here all the time. Cool. And what's that, Father Prax? You remember being obsessed with the caterpillar mechs from the old Zoids anime? I always preferred the big panther type things when it came to Zoids and Voltron and all that kind of stuff, and Power Rangers as well. I always really liked the saber-tooth mech, but that's because I'm a cat weirdo. There we go, cargo terminal. Right, that looks a bit daft like that, so what can we do to make it not look daft? I hate exposed conveyor ports. Absolutely despise them. I always try to hide them whenever I can. What can I do to hide that and make it not look a bit crap? Really like that. Oh, hang on. What have I got? No, of course I haven't. What would I do? Where are they? There they are. Let's put you there. And something like that up there. A little bit of that over in the bottom. We're going to have to go and get the skiff to get up on top of it. Look at that conveyor port at the back. That's that hideous conveyor port covered. That's that hideous conveyor port covered. I wouldn't mind if it didn't have the yellow bit on it, but it's just, I don't like that yellow bit. I know it's a visual indicator of what's a conveyor port or an inventory and that, but I just don't like the way they look. Ah. Oh, there we go, that'll do me for some temporary cargo access out here. Let's pop that meat and that stuff in there. Yeah, that's all getting pulled. Cool. Right, everything's conveyed up. Arkville, will your new hangar need a cargo access for the Mechs ammo? I will end up building a cargo access in there as well eventually. I just like to have cargo terminals dotted about my base in convenient-ish places. And, I mean, we might end up completely removing this and filling this space with something else, but this works well for my purposes for now. That's all missing stuff I don't have. Let's make 1,000 steel plates. Why is only one of those assemblers making steel? Is the other one not set to cooperative mode? Production. Cooperative mode is on. You can pull resources. Oh, what? Figure it out later. Got stuff to weld in the meantime. Right. That need pumped. And then we need a nice ramp to get up and into the bay, because the 2x1 blocks are just too steep by themselves to be useful for most robots, which is a right pain. Really need to get some slope blocks to a slightly shallower incline. That's the right buttons eventually. So we're just going to do my usual trick. Building my own ramp at a nicer angle. In fact, that's a nice shallow angle that I've already set up for another bay, so let's copy that. Let's get the block back in the right orientation. Move any slower like that. Oh, actually, walk mode. That may move a bit slower. It'd be nice if we had the 4x1 ramps they used for the Keen logo intro. Yes, it really would. It'd be very nice if they'd make those blocks available to the actual main game. Oh, it's such a pain to do without creative mode. Or rather without spectator mode. There we go. That looks about right. If I pop that there, then weld that up. Yeah, that looks alright to me. Right, so then we can stick that on there as a connection point for where have they gone? There they are. In fact, yeah, let's copy that colour. Then I can pop them along there. In fact, that last one, so that's going to be a wall. That is going to be a set of stairs instead. So it's slightly aesthetically different. And we can grind that back out. I don't need that no more. Put that back to the colour it was. And we can put a ramp, set of stairs there. Now, can I get that in there? No, I can't, 'cause it's too damn low. So lock instead. Won't be able to get any of them in there, in fact, so we'll just line that up with blocks. Nope. YouTube doing silly things, disconnecting. Internet, what are you doing? Settle down, please. Thank you. Right, that's all that in place, and then we can continue that down a little bit further. In fact, we actually need to weld them up first. We'll build anything else, so let's weld them. What's that? Arkville. Father cracks, in fact. Perfect, as you can expect for freehand. Yeah, it's pretty well aligned. I've done that more times than I can count. I'm getting pretty good at getting those blocks lined up nicely now. It is my little workaround to not having shallower angles to play with. So we can do that there, and then we probably need one more row, so pop another set of blocks just about in there. Oh, damn, I didn't notice the radiation exposure. And I can't run because I'm hungry. Damn, damn, damn. Whew. Right. Lots of things I was forgetting about there. Alright, well, I am getting rid of my radiation sickness. Let's grab some more food. I've still not found mushrooms yet, have I? No, I haven't. And I've got a nice little stash of stuff. What's that? Father Prax, you've tried dozens of times, you can never get it aligned perfectly the way you wanted it. In the end, always had to use pistons and hinges. Yeah, I've done that a few times when I've not been able to get it perfect, and just made a piston rotor projector type thing to get something perfectly aligned. Right, we need more seeds. Let's make some more seeds. A bunch more seeds. Starting to build up a nice little stockpile of fruit and veg now. Need to get some mushrooms. I've still not found any mushrooms anywhere. Alright, what have we got lots of? We've got loads of fruit. We need more grain and more vegetables. Let's look, seeds. That's a bunch of grain seeds. And we'll just do one row of fruit for now. We've got loads of it. Do a row of grain there. I need to recharge a little bit, so let's sit on my couch for a second. Because it's easier than running around to a refill station or a survival kit. More veggie seeds. And I need more grain seeds first, please. One more grain seed. I'm pretty sure it's a row of 7. There we go, that'll do. We'll put another row of grain in there, and then we'll have some vegetables. It's that one. Over there. Cool. Right, that is all of that. Pop those seeds back in there. What we like for ice, 27k. That should be fine for now. We did set up a warning system when the ice is low. Right, back to this. So, let's weld up that if I can. I'm not going to bother trying to get another one in there. I've got enough connecting points across the front of here. 1, 2, 3, and then... It's Mech. Yeah, I might need to try and squeeze that in there. Oh, because the way the ramps connect up. I need interior plates. To make interior plates. Make me a bunch of it, please. There we go, that'll do for the moment. There we go. Oh, right, that's the last one. Can I get one more block in there? Yes, I can. I'm going to do that side too. Yes. We do. Let's copy that texture. That can go there, and that can go there. Right. Then, once I've done all that, to stop it getting deleted by the grid cleanup malarkey, what I usually do is just pop a battery into the floor of the ramp, and then that way it is technically powered, but that power is going nowhere because it's not actually using it for anything. And then the grid stays powered, it doesn't get cleaned up. I'll come back to the rest of the power cells in a second. Go back to the power cells now. Let's get in there. Yeah, take ages to build. All successful. All components withdrawn successfully. That's what I was trying to say. Alright, there we go. That has now got power. That's now done. That now go back there. Now we've got a ramp we can walk up. Right, actually, weld it up first. Need construction components. Go on then, make me some construction components. That assembler. Not doing anything. No, whatever. Go. Ramp getting built now. All the bits. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. All those parts twice. Thank you. Angle to weld. Barely got any of the bits we need. Right, so when I get around to rebuilding the Moth, I'm going to have to give it some legs, I think. Because it might have been able to survive most of that impact if it had actually had some suspension blocks on the bottom to take the brunt of the force. Unfortunately, it dropped like a stone. Right, is that the last of the bits? That is the last of the bits. We need to build the next row though. That should be building those parts. Fantastic. I need to weld up those blocks on the side too. Suit energy is low. And you know, just jump in the mech for a second. Steal a little bit of his power. So you got 91% power left, that's fine. Oh. Need bits. What bits do we need? There we go. Right, so that is the ramp completed. Oh, no it's not. We are missing the last few bits. You know what? Turn those signals off. Cannot withdraw them. Why not? Thank you. Right, there we go. That is that. And let's grab a big load of steel. We've got loads of it. Weld a bit of this floor as well. Do a bit of this floor, and we can start working on the pad in the middle that he's going to step onto, hopefully. In fact, I want to make a few changes to that. Take that one out and replace it with one of them. Do the same with that one, and that one. And then these corners here, don't get the drill out, that makes things explode. That, and that there. Oop, that's steel. Oop, that's a steel. Another 1,000. Why does oh, clicking assembly. Oh, I think I've been clicking on the wrong one. Whatever. Steel is steel. We need either way. And we've got an iron resource below us, so we can get as much as we like. Right, that means that can actually come out. Energy is low again. One of them there, one of them there. Weld that, weld that. Cool. We'll just go and recharge, and we'll bring the mech up onto the platform as well. So he should, hopefully, be able to walk up that ramp fairly well. Once his feet and friction start kicking in. Might have to try and make it a bit shallower. Well, he's up there. Then again, changing the foot configuration might actually help with that, but... Right, there we go. He is up there. Oop. Having crouched, so he's a little bit lower and his thrusters are off. So you're about 3 blocks wide. Oh, spiders! Thank you. Oh yeah, I need to finish off the armor on the back. Oh yeah, I also need to get rid of that battery that was on the back that I had to rebuild to get it back in place. What's that? The man, the grip on grids compared to voxels is so terrible. Really hope that's one thing that changed with SE2. Yes. That is one of my main gripes with the friction mechanics in SE1 is the difference between voxels and grids is quite significant. Can cause a lot of problems. Alright, so let's build a little bit of a ramp. A little bit of a sort of pad that this thing can stand on and that can rotate around. That's the right one. Do that, do that, that, and that. Now, that should be alright. We raise that up to there. That should just about clear that. Could do, actually. Right, let's test that first. Just about clears that. You set that to 180. Ooh, it does scrub the tiniest bit, doesn't it? Yeah, it does just a little bit. That's as high as that goes. What if we swap... Ooh, don't grind that out. What if we swap it to an advanced rotor instead? Or medium head? Cool. Oh, we don't have the option of adding a medium head to this one, do we? Oh yeah, because it's not an advanced rotor. Let's try swapping this for an advanced rotor, because the advanced rotor and the standard rotor have slightly different offset settings. I can't remember which one better. They're also having a few issues with scrubbing on themselves lately. That's that high. Cat, do you want to sit on my lap rather than the back of my head? That's really inconvenient. That one is far too low at its max extension. Actually, I might have... No, because I need to get small grid bits on it, so I do have to convert it to a small grid head. One way or the other. That's as high as that goes. Oh yeah, I think it's the advanced rotor that I want. The small advanced rotor. So I put that on top there and boom across with armor plates. We actually have a decent bit of clearance that we can adjust back down. Oop. Yeah, I think that's the right one. Is it pain in the arse to tell without creative mode? Oh, actually, that's too high. Hello. That might be an issue. Always one or the other, isn't it? And that's ever so slightly too high up. I want that to be able to get a bit lower. Damn. It's either scrubbing slightly or it's a trip hazard. Where should we do it? Actually, yeah, I could use the panels upside down. That's a good point. That will get it a little bit lower down. You are entirely right. Oop. That's the wrong thing. Block. Panel. Oop. Panel. Panel. Gave. It's a little bit lower. Not massively, significantly lower, but it is lower. You know what, we'll go with trip hazard rather than scrubbing, because he's a fairly big boy. That shouldn't be too bad. And his feet are made of wheels that are around blocks, so they shouldn't get snagged. So yeah, we'll go with that height. We'll build this out a little bit. So it's a little bit more sturdy than just some armor plates. Might even actually be able to do most of it. To zero that and weld it back up, otherwise it's going to start moving and doing stuff. Yeah, we should actually be able to build most of it with armor blocks and then just have some plates at the end. And of course, I've completely obscured my view. The rotor head. Let's weld that up first. There we go. Now I do another block, and then that, and then we can just do some armor plates off the tip of that. So if I get much closer, it's going to start scrubbing when it turns. Yeah, I'll do it like that. One of them, one of them. Actually, will be them. Just jump over the entire thing. Right. And that, and that, and that. That can go like that. Yeah, that will need to come out. That's going to be a different block. Oh no, actually, no it won't. It will be a cube. That won't be a cube though. And then we can have that and that. So on that edge. Yeah, next plates into those gaps. Yeah, that should be okay. Oh, very dark over here. Yeah, I should realistically have built some lights on the front of this mech. Probably would have been a good idea. I'll just use my own torch for now. And my suit energy is low again, of course it is. So we need that block in there. Yep, that's the right angle. Cool, and then the rest of it can be done. Armor plate and just overlap that slightly. Although the connection points around the plates are a nightmare sometimes. So thin. Go. Yeah, right. So I'm going to need to extend that out quite a bit actually, because he's quite a wide boy. I get these to connect up sometimes. Yeah, man. There we go. Yeah, it's going to have to be at least that wide. That way. So we'll make it the same on all sides. Can't remember if that's the right way around for the panels. We'll find out when I welded them all up. Then again, I'm probably also going to change the colour of the panel, so I'm not too worried. Nope, that's not going to go there. The only other option really is to build it in large grid and then convert that somehow to small grid, but that would mean putting large grid rotors or hinges on it, and no, that's just getting far too big for this little design. So we need to try and round that off a bit now. And figure out what we're going to do about that. It's not going to come out as far as there. We'll do that. Oh, my YouTube signal